Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fishing the 262. Today is April 16th and I got out on the water for the first time in 2025 today. Still fairly cold here in Wisconsin. When I left the house today it was 38 degrees outside. Time I got home this afternoon it was almost 50. So it ended up being a pretty nice day out there on the water, but certainly not warm by any stretch of the imagination. Water temps were as low as 47 and a half. The warmest water that I found out there today was 49 degrees. So with all that out of the way, let's kind of get into it here. I want to talk about the Rapala Mavrik 110. I mentioned this in a previous video. I picked this up last year. I never got around to fishing it. Well, today I finally was able to put it through the paces. And I just want to talk about some of the things. How deep it runs, the hooks, the action, the castability, the suspending, all of that stuff. But before we get into it, I just want to show you the box so that we're clear here. This is hard cutting suspending. Then on the back, on the description, Precision Extreme Series is made with the finest construction and best technical qualities. The suspending PXR Mavrik provides accurate, ultra-long casts, head-down posture with hard cutting, semi-erratic action, triggers fish in any condition, etc., etc. So let's talk about it. And then on the top of the box, it lists the running depth as 5 to 6 feet. So running depth, no issue with that description. I could see this bait on my live scope today. Plain as day, we were getting her down about 6.5 feet. And I was running this stuff right here for the first time ever. It's Daiwa Samurai Fluorocarbon, 10 pound. So with the 10 pound fluoro, no issue getting it down to the 6.5 foot mark. So as advertised. These VMC hooks, you guys, nasty sharp. No complaints about those hooks. No reason to change those out coming out of the package, you guys. These things are ultra sticky. I hooked 5 fish. I put 5 fish in the boat with it today. I didn't lose any bites. The other thing it talked about on the back was the casting. I don't know if it'll show up on camera here. Oh, I got that hook stuck in my finger. You can kind of see in there, right by my finger, there are 2 ball bearings, and that's a weight transfer system. This thing casts like a rocket. It casts into the wind. It casts crosswind. I casted it downwind. Like I said, I put it through the paces for about 4 hours today. That's all I really had time for, and I picked up 5 keepers on it. So cast well, super sharp hooks, beautiful color. I really like the paint job on this. This one is called Matte Shad, I believe. Yep, Matte Shad. You can see it's semi-translucent. The top color shifts from purple to olive. And then the belly is pearl, but also it's got, if it'll show up on camera, I'm not sure, a little bit of blue color shift on the pearl belly too. So just a beautiful bait. It's a really good looking bait. Let's talk about some of the other characteristics that they mentioned on here. Hard cutting, yeah, it darts pretty good. I don't know if I'd call it hard cutting, but it moves really well in the water. It was triggering bites today. No issues there. It did say on the back, though, head down posture. That is not an exaggeration of the truth at all. This bait sits in the water about like that. At least this one does. Super head down posture. Not even, slightly head down. It's almost probably about there, to be perfectly honest. I mean, this thing really kind of... Now, probably my biggest issue with this bait, and again, I don't know if it's this one in particular or if it's unique to every single one of these. This one, again, suspending. Not even a little bit, you guys. This bait didn't even attempt to suspend. I could jerk it down. I could see it there at 6.5 feet. If I stopped it on the pause, it would immediately start to float back up. The way I was getting bit today, jerk it down, 6.5 feet, I would let it float up and they would hit it on that rise. I don't typically prefer a bait that rises. I like a true suspending or a slow sink normally, but they did seem to be picking it up on that float when I was getting bit. Now, again, I don't know if this is indicative of all of these or if this one just happens to be a bad one. If I let that bait sit there long enough, though, I could jerk it down 6.5 feet, let it sit, and that sucker would float all the way back to the surface. So The floating action was a little bit extreme on this one. I was really surprised by that. I was a little caught off guard by it. But like I said, every time I get bit today, it was on that pause when that bait was ultimately rising. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It just isn't what I was expecting, to be fair. I do want to buy a couple more of these and test a couple more and see if they all float or if it just happens to be that this is a bad one. I think I'll be able to get this one to at least suspend a little bit. I'll put a suspend dot and I'll probably weight it back here behind that first hook, try to bring that tail down just a smidge to get it out of that almost vertical presentation. Get that tail down just a little bit and get her suspending a little bit better. I know water temperature can sometimes aggravate the way a bait suspends, but I was not expecting this thing to rise all the way back to the surface. That really caught me off guard. But overall, you guys, I like the bait. I want to try a couple more of them and see if I just have a dud here, if they do actually suspend or if they're all kind of that slow float. But like I said, sharp hooks, great looking color, runs the depth it's advertised to run at. It just didn't deliver in the suspending category. So that's my initial impression, you guys. I hope this information is helpful to you. Don't be afraid to go out and try these. It is a fish catcher. There's no denying it. 5 keepers in 4 hours, pretty decent, you know, first outing of the year. So it is absolutely a fish catcher. Go ahead and give them a try for yourself, and drop me a comment below. Let me know if yours actually suspended or if you kind of got that slow float like I was getting today, because I'm really curious to hear from you guys on this one. But again, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching the videos. We'll catch you on the next one. Tight lines, you guys.